I thought he was just going to carry hors d'oeuvres, but then there's that video of me carrying the hors d'oeuvres. But at any rate, no,
your answer is no.
Of course not.
Okay.
Of course not. Clinton, Oprah, whatever, Kim, do
So
that sort of thing. But I don't know. No.
Your users' privacy is of paramount importance to you personally, isn't it?
Yes, because it's the only way we can ensure a discrete experience that has integrity and leaves the user as whole and intact when they finish their experience with our network as when they came to us. We're concerned about the wholeness of the human being. We don't just try to exploit and use people and make money and, as you say, dominate the world.
Glad to hear that. Thank you very much, Mr.
You're very
Zuckerson.
welcome.
Mr. Owen, would you like to rehabilitate your witness?
I don't think that's possible, Your Honor. No further questions.
You may be excused.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
You may call your next witness.
Yes, the government calls Maria Batali.
Ms. Batali, would you raise your left hand, please? Do you promise to stick to the script or under threat of not being invited back next year?
You betcha.
Good afternoon, Ms. Batali. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Could you please state your name and title to the jury?
My name is Maria Batali. I am the head of security at MyTwitFace.
And could you please explain your job responsibilities?
I'm the worldwide head of security for MyTwitFace. I secure the networks, I secure the computers, I secure the physical plant, I do background checks on prospective hires, and run our team of corporate espionage agents.
And can you tell the jury a little bit about your particular approach to security? Do you have a philosophy about security?
2 words, total control. Nothing comes into my building, not by the doors, the windows, the wires, or through air ducts, without my having approved it first. I consider George Orwell's 1984 to be an excellent corporate handbook.
And how about surveillance, then? Does your approach involve any surveillance?
Oh, you betcha. I started a program called Total Information Awareness. This was back in 1999 before the government stole my idea. My motto is, show me a flat surface and I'll show you how to mount a camera on it. I use video cameras, microphones, RFID tags, heat sensing cameras, Geiger counters, you name it.
And how about laptop security, the topic that brings us today? Did you ever worry about the security of the laptops of your employees?
Yes, those laptops kept me up at night. I hated the idea that we let them things out of our facilities full of our secrets, available to spouses, kids, squirrels, and other people's networks.
So why didn't you just ban laptops?
Well, I did try. The whiny users complained. They had all sorts of sob stories about working from home, going to conferences, taking care of sick kids, just whiners.
Yeah. And what did you do then to secure these laptops?
Well, I did a lot, but I really learned a lot from the folks at the Lower Marion High School district outside Philly. Those guys are visionaries.
So can you please tell the jury what you're talking about?
I'm talking about Ambiguous Manage.
And what's Ambiguous Manage?
Ambiguous Manage is a beautiful piece of software technology. It follows the Total Information Awareness mantra. It co-ops the laptop video camera, turning it into a remote video surveillance device. It logs keystrokes. It captures screenshots. It tracks location by tracking Wi-Fi hotspots. It turns on Bluetooth to try to enumerate cell phones nearby. It takes a simple little laptop and turns it into the perfect tool for corporate surveillance. It's just a wonderful tool.
I can tell you're a fan. I'll let you have a moment just to bask in that. So let's now turn to the events that bring us here today. Do you remember the events of January 25th?
I do. It's the darkest day of my life.
And why do you say that?
It's the day I learned my security system wasn't perfect.
So are you referring to the newspaper article?
Oh, that damn newspaper article.
So what happened? Tell the jury about January 25th.
Biz called me into his office. He was livid. He was grasping a copy of the newspaper article.
And what did he say to you?
3 words. Find the leak.
And how did you interpret that? What did you interpret that to mean?
He wanted me to find out how the journalist knew what she knew.
Okay, so then you have this order from Biz. What did you do next?
Well, we have a protocol for this sort of thing. It's a rendition incident response protocol.
Okay, and what's this protocol require you to do?
Well, first we go into total lockdown. We lock down all the offices. People can't go in or out. We electrify the fences. We take any compromised systems offline, check file hash signatures, IDS logs, other logs, run packet sniffers, and then we release the hounds.
So I'm sorry, I don't know that. Hounds, this is a kind of packet sniffer you're referring to?
No, hounds. Dogs. We strip search all employees, administer lie detectors, truth serum, waterboarding. You know, typical CISSP cube stuff.
Okay. And did any of this turn up any leads?
Most of it didn't, but it was a lot of fun. Most of it was mostly for show, you know, just scare the employees, keep them in line. We knew that the key was Zuckerson's laptop because of the screenshot and video.
And so what did you do with Zuckerson's laptop?
I ran a sniffer and discovered, to my horror and dismay, that the copy of Ambiguous Manage running on the laptop wasn't communicating with my server. It was communicating with a computer owned by an employee named Brutish.
And so did your attention turn to Brutish? Did you suspect Brutish for this?
We did at first. We interrogated him. Let's just say we're positive he wasn't lying when he said he didn't do it.
Okay. And so what did you do next?
We looked through our IDS logs for suspicious communications with Brutish's computer.
And did you learn anything from those logs?
There were a lot of recent packets from an IP address, 10.1.1.1.
And so what did you do with this IP address?
Unfortunately, not very much. It tracked back to a Verizon broadband customer in Philadelphia, and I called Verizon's security team, and though they said they'd investigate, they wouldn't tell me anything about the computer.
So what did you do next?
I went to Biz and told them that we had to go to law enforcement.
And then what happened next?
Biz called the cops.
Great. Thank you. You're a witness.
Thank you. Just a few questions, Ms. Patali. Truth serum,
Yeah,
okay. Strip searches,
standard procedure.
video surveillance.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that you place the security and business interests of MyTwitFace over the personal privacy of its employees?
We respect the privacy of our employees, but they wouldn't be employees without MyTwitFace.
I'm not sure I understand.
What was the question?
Is it fair to say that you value the business and security interests of MyTwitFace over the personal privacy of MyTwitFace's employees?
Well, they do understand that they are subject to monitoring.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
What about MyTwitFace's users? Did you take any steps involving MyTwitFace users' information in trying to track down the source of this leak?
Well, we do have our list of users who are known to be the bad users.
I'm sorry, the bad users.
Well, these are the ones who have published certain subversive content, things that we've profiled that could be some problems for our network. We need to protect our network and our other users.
Subversive, would that include people who have simply criticized MyTwitFace?
Well, criticizing my TwitFace is subversive.
So this is essentially an enemies list that you've
Objection,
made.
Your Honor. I don't see how this is relevant to the case.
Your Honor, it's relevant in regard to my client's motive to expose the lack of respect of privacy of MyTwitFace.
All right, I'll allow it to continue,
Thank you.
subject to you tying it up with a later witness.
I'll wrap it up very quickly, Your Honor. Indeed, I don't think I have any further questions. I think that does it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ohm, do you have any further direct?
No further questions, Your Honor.
You're excused. You can call your next witness.
The government calls Richard Stroker. People are just getting it.
You raise your left hand. I understand you're a law enforcement official?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, there's no need for an oath.
Thank you, sir.
So should we call you Richard then?
Oh, just call me Dick.
Okay. Dick, could you please state your name and occupation?
Yes, sir. Richard Dick Stroker, Special Agent with the California Bureau of Investigation, currently assigned to the Overreact Task Force.
And don't you think the last few jokes have been a little too obvious? No. All right. So first question.
Actually, to answer that, sometimes we've had a slow audience.
Okay. What's your area of specialty?
Yes, I specialize in computer crimes investigations. I'm also a certified computer and network forensics analyst. I've got all kinds of certifications, too many to enumerate right now.
Your Honor, I'd remind the court that we previously qualified Agent Stroker as an expert in the areas of network and computer forensics.
That's accurate. We'll let the record reflect that the witness has been qualified as an expert.
Okay, so how did you first become involved in the investigation that brings us here today?
So our office received a call on the 25th of January from Mr. Biz Zuckerson, very upset about something, complaining about a breach of security on his personal computer.
And what did you do first?
Well, I visited the company and I went to Mr. Zuckerson's house, Thanks to the work already done by Ms. Battaglia, I'd like to say I think very highly of the work that she's done. I think 1984 was also a very good handbook on security. So based on the work done by Ms. Battaglia, I tracked the attack quickly to a specific IP address, 10.1.1.1.
And what did you do next?
Well, using the public database lookups, I determined that the IP address was being used by a FiOS customer in Philadelphia.
So what steps did you take to investigate the the Philadelphia computer, sorry.
Because Ms. Battaglia obviously did a much better job than I did on finding this. Well, I contacted my counterparts in Philly, and together we drafted a search warrant for the computer, which we executed a few days later.
And did you discover anything when you examined that computer?
Unfortunately not very much. There was no evidence whatsoever that related back to the defendant. There was, however, an installation of Tor. The machine had been configured as a Tor exit node.
And what did you conclude from this?
Well, whoever compromised the laptop's security probably used Tor to hide his tracks.
And so could you look at log files or use Tor to find out any evidence of who that person was?
No, sir, wish we could, but Tor nodes don't tend to create any traces of evidence, and there was no log file.
Okay, so what did you do next?
Well, at first I figured we were at a dead end, so I didn't think there was anything left for us to do. The only lead I had left was a potential journalist, and I didn't want to go there.
So what do you mean you didn't want to go there?
Well, we're reminded pretty frequently to treat journalists very carefully.
Sorry, I'm still not following. Can you explain to the jury what you mean by
So
that?
during our training at the Overreact unit, we're taught that because of the First Amendment and the Privacy Protection Act, we're not supposed to get warrants for journalists' computers if we don't suspect the journalist of having committed the crime himself.
And so did you call the journalist?
I did.
And what did the journalist tell you?
Said that his sources were confidential. He wouldn't voluntarily help out.
Okay, so what did you do after this?
Not much I could do. I called Mr. Zuckerson and Ms. Battaglia, and I gave them the bad news. They were obviously disappointed. Actually, they were very distressed and screamed a lot of bad words at me, which I can't repeat for the court. But I thought they'd understood.
Okay, so what happened next then?
Well, the next day my boss came into my office. He explained that the situation had changed.
What did he mean by change?
Well, he let me know that the case had been elevated into an Overreact Tier 1 case, which meant that we had to put it to the top of our list. It also meant we'd be willing to do a bit more aggressive about things.
And what impact did that reclassification have on this case? What did it mean?
It meant we went to go raid the journalist's house.
And so that's what you did?
Yes, we went to a judge and got a warrant to search the journalist's house.
Okay, so what happened next?
Well, we executed the warrant.
So please turn in the exhibit folder in front of you to tab 2. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do. It's the search warrant inventory.
Okay, and Your Honor, the government moves exhibit 2 into evidence.
Any objection? It's admitted.
So this is the inventory. What do you mean by that?
Well, this is everything that we seized from Mr. Ross, the journalist's location.
And because the print is kind of small, just to give the jury a feel for what this is, could you read maybe the first 5 or 10 entries on what you took from the journalist's house?
Yes, we seized 1 box of business cards for subject clients, 1 Apple notebook white with power cord, 1 Seagate external 250 gigabyte hard drive, 1 microwave oven.
Microwave oven?
Well, it was one of those, looked like a computer-controlled microwave oven, so we thought it's possible some information might have been hidden in the oven. We also seized Fido.
So Fido, is this some sort of computer technology?
That's his dog. His dog had a tracking chip under the skin, and we felt it was very possible that information could have been hidden in that tracking chip. And as you understand from our Overreact training, any potential piece of evidence, no matter how incredibly stupid it sounds, must be seized.
All right. I think the jury's heard enough. Let's stop reading the list. So can you tell the jury what you found when you brought all of this back to your lab to analyze it?
We found the email the journalist's source had sent to the journalist.
Okay, so please turn your binder to Exhibit 3. Is this the email that you were referring to?
I'm not sure I have the right one. Yes, I do.
Okay, Your Honor, once again, admitting this in
Any
evidence.
objection to admission? It's admitted.
Okay, so this is published once again to the jury, but it's awfully small. Could you please read the entire email to the jury?
Sure. From truthseeker@freemail.com, sent Wednesday, February 24th, 2010, 11:27 a.m., to Simon Ross, subject MyTwitFace. Simon, I know you write for the Technology Beat and have been writing some quality work on privacy issues. You're going to love this. Attached are screenshots from Biz Zuckerson's laptop, direct from the source. Screenshot showing an instant messaging conversation exposing Mr. TwitFace's plan for the future. And what a scary plan it is. Read the IM first. Then you have to watch the attack.